أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Respected viewers of JemeilTv, Assalamu alaikum. Today we will discuss about Surah Alhadid, serial number 57 in the compilation of Holy Quran. Introduction. This surah is at serial number 57 in the compilation of Holy Quran, and there are 29 verses in it. It discusses the following: all knowledge and authority belongs to Allah. Have faith in Allah's power, make sacrifice, and give charity for the cause of truth. Light and life are for the believers. The disbelievers walk in darkness. Warning to those who refuse to acknowledge Allah. Sincere in faith are those who are willing to sacrifice and help the poor and needy. The life of this world is temporary. Compete with each other in doing good things to receive the eternal reward from Allah. Prophets were sent to establish justice with authority. References to prophets Noah, Ibrahim, and Jesus, peace be upon them all. All prophets preach same message, but some of their followers went into extremes. The Christians thus invented monasticism for themselves. It was not commanded by Allah. The believer are asked to have faith and walk in the light of Allah. The final success belongs to the believers. How the surah got its name? This surah takes its name from verse number 25. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وأنزلنا الحديد فيه بأس شديد. We sent down iron wherein is great military might. Period of revelation. This is unanimously a Madani surah, and a study of its subject matter shows that it was probably sent down sometime during the interval between the Battle of Uhud and the Truce of Hudaybiyah. This was the time when the tiny Islamic state of Medina had been hemmed in by the disbelievers, and the handful of the ill-equipped Muslims were entrenched against the combined power of entire Arabia. In this state, Islam not only stood in need of the sacrifice of life from its followers, but help. It also needed monetary help and assistance. In this surah, a forceful appeal has been made for the same. This view is further strengthened by verse 10, in which Allah has addressed the believers to the effect, those of you who would spend and fight after the victory can never be equal to those who have spent and fought before the victory. And the same is supported by the traditions that Ibn Marduya has related on the authority of Hazrat Ans radiallahu anhu. In respect of the verse 16, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ألم يأن للذين آمنوا أن تخشع قلوبهم لذكر الله وما نزل من الحق ولا يكونوا كالذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبل فطال عليهم الأمد فقست قلوبهم وكثير منهم فاسقون. Has not the time yet arrived for the believers that their hearts should melt with the remembrance of Allah and should submit to the truth sent down by Him? And they should not be like those who were given the book before them. He says that 70 years after the commencement of the revelation of the Quran, this verse was sent down to arouse the believers to action. Reckoned thus, the period of the revelation of this surah falls between the fourth and the fifth year after the Hijrah. Theme and subject matter. The theme of this surah is to exhort the Muslim to spend in the cause of Allah at the most critical juncture of the history of Islam, when it was engaged in a life and death struggle against Arab paganism. This surah was revealed to persuade the Muslim to make monetary sacrifices in particular, and to make them realize that Islam did not merely consist in verbal affirmation and some outward practices, but its essence and spirit is sincerity towards Allah and His religion. The faith of the one who was devoid of this spirit, and who regarded his own self and wealth as dearer to himself than Allah and His religion, was hollow and therefore of little worth in the sight of Allah. For this object, first the attributes of Allah Almighty have been mentioned, so that the listener may fully realize as to who is addressing them. Then the following themes have been expressed in the sequence. The inevitable demand of the faith is that one should not shirk spending one's wealth for the sake of Allah. This would not only be contrary to the faith but also wrong realistically, for the wealth indeed belongs to Allah, on which man has been given proprietary rights only as vicegerent. Yesterday, this wealth was in other people's possession. Today, it is with one particular man, and tomorrow it will pass into someone else's hand. Ultimately, it will go back to Allah, who is the inheritor of everything in universe. Only that much of this wealth will be of any use to a man which he spends in the cause of Allah during the period it is in his possession. Although making sacrifices for the sake of Allah is commendable in any case, the true worth of these sacrifices is determined by the nature of the occasion. There is occasion when the power of paganism is overwhelming, and there is a danger that it might subdue and overcome Islam completely. There is another occasion when Islam is in stronger position in its struggle against un-Islam, and the believers are attaining victories. Both these states are not equal as regards their respective importance. Therefore, the sacrifices that are made in these different states would also not be equal. Those who sacrifice their lives and expend their wealth to further promote the cause of Islam when it is already strong cannot attain to the rank of those who struggle with their lives and their wealth to promote and uphold the cause of Islam when it was weak. Here we take a break. In the next episode, we will discuss more about this surah. Please stay tuned to JemeilTv. Thanks. Jazakallah khair.